What's up everyone, it's the failed one. So last we left off on Lamento, Konoe was running away from the bandits because that's what the hot silver-haired guy told us to do, our savior. So, let's continue. Damn it. So he slowly lifted up his body. As soon as he tried, his head began to ache. His tail was tangled with his drawstring bag and ached too. He frowned and roughly pushed the bag aside as if he were mad at it. Konoe stood up, breathing heavily at the pain in his body. The pain from the empathy he feels. He shook the leaves and dirt off of his clothes. What was he doing? Feeling pitiful? He looked up at the sky. The moon of light seemed to have quietly disappeared. Surprised, he took a look around. Overhead and all around him, steep cliffs protruded from the earth. Konoe's feet had slipped. Luckily, the cliff he had stumbled down wasn't quite as steep. Falling from there wouldn't kill him, but the others would. The thought made him shiver. Right, we fell down that cliff. We rolled all the way down. For now, he needed to get back up those cliffs. He took a step forward and felt something strange under his foot. It felt strange and muddy, a surface unlike any other he'd walked on. And Konoe lifted his chin up and sniffed the air. Soil, greenery, and water, all of these mixed into a putrid scent of decay. This place looks pretty creepy. He surveyed his surroundings. His vision was obstructed. It was dark and filled with fog, and the outlines of rotting trees stood out amongst them. The air felt oppressive and distorted. Perhaps this was the Lamento Valley. Heard rumors about it in Karo. Inside the forest of illusion, there was a place where a strayed miasma rose from the ground, killing the trees and plants, poisoning the water, and turning the air stagnant. It was a place where no living thing was there. Here I thought the void was that, but this is like a stable version of the void, like it just stays there. Instead of moving around and trying to touch people. The story went on, he remembered. In the Lamento Valley, there was a village called Kiran, where a tribe lived in seclusion, away from the public eye. They were bloodthirsty creatures. It was said that if you met their eyes, they would tear you apart like these. So I'm guessing that's gonna be our next. We're gonna be their next victim, really. The people of Kiran, many had black ears and tails and brown skin, and it was said they had black marks on their bodies. Many of them matched the description of the cursed cat. Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of sounds like Konoe right now. Black ears, tail, and black marks. Just with not brown skin, but maybe that'll come later. Nevertheless, in reality, very few people actually went to Kiran or saw its people, so no one knew if these rumors were true. Konoe remembered being interested to know more, though. Black ears and tails, black markings on their bodies, just like Konoe. Maybe if he met with them, he'd find some clues. Such a thought struck him, though. If he kept going, maybe he'd run into them. He wanted to see what they looked like. But he was in danger here. If they really were as barbaric as the rumors claim, Konoe perked his ears and sniffed the air, watching the state of his surroundings. The dead trees didn't have territorial scratch marks on them, but he could smell the faint scent of other cats. Here. Konoe followed the smell and started to walk through the dense fog billowing around him. Maybe the rumors really were just rumors. While he walked, that thought crossed his mind. He didn't know how vast this valley was to begin with, but Kiran had to be somewhere around here. His vision was obscured and he could hardly see anything. After he had walked a considerable distance, Konoe could smell cats, but there was nothing like a village anywhere at all. Maybe it was just a rumor after all, he'd figured. He continued to tread on through the soft earth of the unchanging marsh a little more. I think maybe the village is hidden, so we're gonna probably accidentally walk into it. Gradually, he began to suspect there really couldn't be a village here. The nauseous smog filled the air around him. It wasn't a place where anyone could settle down and live. Then he looked up at the sky. He saw only the faint, blurry shape of the moon. It was clouded by the fog. The forest was dark at night, but this place was truly shrouded in darkness. Only eerie silence followed him. Konoe'd go a little further. If he couldn't find anything, he'd go back. He strained his ears as much as he could, paying attention to his surroundings and walking carefully, keeping his guard up. There shouldn't have been anyone around him, but... oh... They found us. A voice suddenly echoed behind him. Konoe tried to look around, but something pressed against his throat. It was hard and cold. Cold sweat ran down his back. When did this cat appear? Konoe hadn't noticed him at all. Could he be a Kiran cat? But look at us, we look like you. A knife pressed against his jugular. The voice sounded expressionless, without a trace of intimidation. But that was what made Konoe gulp, strangely terrified.
Kira no neko ka? Shaberu na.
Konoe quietly relaxed his body. His silence indicated his obedience. While the cat behind him kept Konoe captive, he slowly began to change the direction of his body. He turned towards the direction Konoe had come from. We don't want to go back that way. But Konoe didn't intend to give in without a fight. Suddenly, Konoe pushed his body forward from the cat behind him. We're gonna fight? Twisted all his body weight at once to brush himself free from the hand around his neck. Konoe pushed both his elbows back forcefully, but there was no reaction. A sharp blade flashed overhead and Konoe ducked just in time. He saw the knife's stem shining right under his arm. Konoe's opponent was a male cat with a larger build than himself. His black attire left his entire body melted into the darkness. That is very difficult to find. Only his eyes, with his pupil drawn to his eye, thin slits, showed forward. Chills went up Konoe's spine. In those eyes, he saw neither fighting spirit nor malice, only the urge to kill. Earnest, true eyes, his eyes didn't have the joy of fighting or anger, only the need to erase the life. It was a light that shone strongly and nothing but pure determination. Unconsciously, Konoe gave a low growl. His opponent glared back at him. Even though his enemy was watching him, he couldn't avert his eyes. Though he was inferior in skill, he didn't plan on losing. The power of the look was much stronger than his. The cat's expression changed for just a moment. He opened his mouth slightly. But his foe was silent as he stepped forward and brandished his knife. Konoe tried to avoid it, but he lost his footing and fled. He lifted one arm to protect his head and could barely evade the blow by ducking to the side. The knife didn't cut his flesh, but its blade caught his gauntlet. Konoe jumped back, unconcerned. A dry sound echoed. The fabric of his gauntlet had ripped and listlessly held to the ground. Now that there was some distance between them, Konoe reached for the sword at his waist and changed his stance. But the cat didn't move. Even the murderous intent that clung to him badly moved. Just he sees that we're like him. Konoe watched his opponent's actions, suspicious. The completely black male cat stood straight. The male cat opened his mouth to speak. His voice was tinged with confusion. Konoe straightened down his posture too, narrowed his eyes, and stared at his opponent. Yeah, he looks real good. It wasn't just his clothes. The cat was entirely dark. His skin was dark brown, and his hair, tail, and ears were all deep black. Konoe saw what looked like marks on his arms. There was no mistake. He's like us! He was a cat of Kira. And he is damn fine too. Yeah.
その腕。
The murderous look faded from the eyes of the Kiran cat when he looked at Konoe's arm, where the gauntlet was torn off. His gaze turned next to his ears and tail. Konoe's hood had fallen while he was fighting, so his ears had been exposed.
お前、何者だ。
そんなのこっちが聞きたい。
どういうことだ。
Konoe picked up the torn gauntlet and glanced at his bared arm. Even in the darkness, he could clearly see his mark.
いきなりこうなったんだ。これが一体何なのか知りたくてここへ来た。キラ。
The Kiran cat fell silent and stared at Konoe, a complex look in his eyes. He lowered his ears slightly. It looked like he was trying to determine if Konoe was telling the truth or a lie. Well, I think it's kind of obvious if you just look at him. It's like, well, he has all of these things. So Konoe looked him straight in the eye. The Kiran cat looked down to his feet and seemed to be lost in thought for a moment, but then he looked up.
ついてこい。
Okay. Konoe was bewildered by his sudden words, but the Kiran cat turned quickly and began to walk away. Towards the village, he assumed. The black figure threatened to disappear into the darkness, so Konoe hurried after him. After they walked a while, the fog seemed to clear. They had arrived at the village of Kira. Konoe thought how he'd been lost just a little while ago. No, it was simply because he was with this Kiran. Even though the fog cleared, the heaviness of the air didn't change. Like the Yukoku Valley, the village of Kira was covered in darkness. So now we are still in the same area in Kira. All of the cats' houses were built on top of trees. Their exteriors were rustic. There were absolutely no decorations. It was a much drearier place than Karo. If Karo was green, then he'd say Kira's color was gray. It was a barbarous air to it. It had a barbarous air to it. Barbarous? Like barbaric? All of the village cats who watched them just stared at their eyes and showed caution. Threatening growls rumbled in their chest. It was hard to tell clearly, but there seemed to be numerous cats with black ears. Black ears? Well, that's the description people have of them. The cat who led him here now walked straight to the village. In the middle of the village was a big dead tree. Built on top of it was a hut, noticeably larger than the other houses. Leading up to it were wooden stairs.
少し待っていろ。
The black cat headed up the steps and entered the hut, then came back out a while later. From atop the tree, he signaled to Konoe with his eyes. Konoe went up the stairs to enter the hut. The interior of the hut was a lot more spacious than he thought. But there was nothing valuable in the big hut. Only a few storage pots on some time-worn shelves. An old cat stood in the center of the hut, and a younger cat waited behind him. Konoe was surprised when he saw the young cat. Oh, it's a female. The cat was a female. And these are, well, they never said they were extinct. They're very rare. She has white hair. Her white ears and tail stood out well against her brown skin. The female cat glared at Konoe with big eyes as if to expel his gaze. The old cat sat down. His body was large. A deep crease ran down the middle of his forehead. Even though he was old, the sharp glint in his eyes quietly seized him. His ears and tail weren't black, but marks firmly stood out on his skin.
お前は下がっていい。
The old cat said to the black cat Konoe had followed him. tone felt more severe than necessary. The cat did as he was told and silently left the hut.
さてと
Definitely an old guy. The elderly cat looked back to Konoe, his tail swung greatly and noisily beat against the floor like a powerful whip.
ようこそとでも言いたいところだがな。
Yes? Are you not friendly at all?
あんたがキラの長なのか？
いかにも
The Kiran elder brazenly looked Konoe up and down.
話は聞いた。本来ならばよそ者がこの村に立ち入ることは許されん。だがその黒い耳を、それからそのあざ。
The elder's gaze stopped at Konoe's arms. Because the gauntlet was torn, his black markings were exposed.
主は元からそのいでたちだったのか。
違う。
ならばある日突然そうなったと。
ああ。あんたたちの噂を聞いて、それで何か知ってるんじゃないかと思ってこの村を探してた。
おお。
The chief snorted and approached Konoe, taking hold of his arm, his palms dry and rough.
黒い耳と尾に黒いあざ。言い伝えにある呪いの象徴。キラの民の中には確かにそれと合致する者もいる。
This guy is really not friendly.
だから世間では何かと言われておろうが、我らは我らの伝統を重んじているだけだ。例えば
Kira's elder stuck out his own arm and rubbed the mark on his skin. The mark faded and wrapped. Mark again?
これはあざではない。キラの民の証とでも言うべきか。水と蜜を練り合わせた墨で描いたものに過ぎぬ。 黒い耳と尾を持つ猫が多いのもキラの祖先に由来する。純粋な血筋を守り抜いているがゆえだ。だが主のこれは
The chief looked into Konoe's eyes and Konoe suddenly felt powerless.
残念ながら我らとは何の関係もない。
Did you see that? Konoe's eyes they became so sad and his ears went down. The expectant hope Konoe had been feeling was crushed when he heard that.
主はどこから来たのだ。
カロ
おお、カローか。村を出てきたのか。
ー。ああ。もう戻れない。
Not with a body like this.
だろうな。
The elder sighed and cast his gaze towards the window. He seemed to be pondering something. The attending female cat behind the elder stared intensely at Konoe. She seemed strong-willed.
無駄足を踏ませたな。
Not really. While he stared out the window, the elder suddenly opened his mouth.
いや、話を聞けただけでもよかった。
He wouldn't be surprised if they chased him out or killed him, though he knew their states were different. The Kiran elder seemed distracted by something else. Konoe began to wonder if the rumors he heard in Karo about them being savages were lies. I think they were. It's whenever someone's different or whatever, people always make all these bad assumptions or bad things about them, saying, oh, you know, they're this and they're that, but in reality, they're not. The elder turned around and silently looked at Konoe, then shook his head.
よそ者と慣れ合うつもりはないが、主の気持ちもわからんではない。我らも、時には周囲の風当たりの強さに牙を向きたくなる時がある。その体、さぞ生きにくかろうな。おそらく、我ら以上に。ましてや、自分の意志ではないとなればなおさらだろ そういったものは他者にはなかなかわからぬ痛みだ。
Konoe grit his teeth and clenched his fist, his claws cutting into his palm. He didn't need to be here any longer. Konoe turned on his heels and started to walk towards the door.
行くあてはあるのか？
Of course we don't. He froze when the elder's voice suddenly called out.
いや、
夜の月が昇るまでは村にいても構わんぞ。
え？
Konoe involuntarily turned around. At least this guy's being nice enough to us. The attending female cat's face suddenly stiffened.
消耗しておるのだろう。体を休めていけばいい。
王さん、お待ちください。
黙っていろ、かがり。
The female cat, Kagari, controlled herself and reluctantly shut her mouth. The chieftain watched the Kagari and continued.
ただし、どんな事情があろうとも、よそ者はよそ者だ。この通り、民も歓迎はしないだろう。それでも良いのであればの話だ。
The chief's tone was stern, but he probably understood that Konoe had no other place to rest. Konoe stood there in silence. Strengthened by his confusion, his tail shook from left to right several times. He was honestly thankful for the offer, but as the elder said, the cats of Kita wouldn't welcome him. Kagari, who was trying to hide her dissatisfaction, stared at the profile of the elder. Aside from that, he had one more concern. That was sacrifices. Kita's lack of food supply was probably no different from Karo or other villages. This meant that outsiders could be suitable prey. They could eat him without any qualms.
何か聞きたいことでもあるのか？
The elder narrowed his eyes as he looked at Konoe.
キラでは煮えの制度はあるのか？
煮え？ああ。
The elder furrowed his brow in open disgust.
我らはキラの血筋に誇りを持っている。どれだけ飢えたとしても同族を食らうなどもってのほか。そもそも主の体を食らいたいなどというつわものはそうはいないと思う。
That much was so. It was said in Karo that those who ate a cursed cat became cursed themselves. Kito's families took pride in their blood, at least they seem more practical than Karo.
朝と呼んでこい。
The elder ordered the attending female cat. So his name is Asato. The female cat seemed to try to hide her confusion. However, she immediately left the hut. After a few minutes, the hut's door opened.